Hello, friends, and welcome to Take Two for this Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2026. I'm Jeannie, and I'm glad that you've come along for the ride on this hump day. Well, what a week this has been. The last few days are just a complete blur to me. I'll start by saying my dear, dear friend was starting to have some forgetfulness and confusion, and she just didn't know what was going on. She almost got in a car accident, and it was just one thing after another. It just came on her suddenly, and she wasn't sure what it was. We took her to the doctor. They couldn't find anything wrong with her. Thought maybe she had some sort of flu or something coming on, but the symptoms were so scattered and strange that a regular doctor couldn't determine anything. Well, she slept over at our house the night that we took her to the doctor, and it started escalating to complete confusion and so forth. Needless to say, we ended up ordering an ambulance. We took her to the hospital. CAT scans, MRIs, and so on were done. And before you know it, a diagnosis came back that there was a mass on her brain. Yesterday, she had that tumor surgically removed from her brain. Just like that, a matter of a few days, she was fine, well, sort of fine, and then all of a sudden she's in the hospital having her skull cut into and a brain tumor removed. You know, it's very interesting because I personally had gone through a mini crisis a week or two before where I had to have a medical test. And if the results had been unfavorable, it could have been quite serious, maybe even life-threatening. Thankfully, it turned out that it was not. But I had given so much thought and concern to that. And at the same time, another person in my life was going through something similar, but even more serious. And it turned out, thankfully, that her prognosis ended up being favorable. So these two things I had been so consumed with. And suddenly, it's like my problem seemed like nothing. When all of a sudden I was faced with my best friend, possibly when I prayed over her and squeezed her hand and she was being wheeled into surgery, thinking, okay, that might be the last time I ever see her alive, because all kinds of papers had to be signed just in case she died on the table and this kind of thing. It was just nerve-rattling. So let me say this, boys and girls. Sometimes your worries, your troubles, your problems seem so big. And just to remind you that suddenly they can seem so small, because there's always going to be somebody else who has something going on that's far worse than your situation. Now, please understand, I'm not belittling what that other person I told you about that had a similar situation to mine was going through, or even what I was going through. I'm not belittling those things. They were quite serious and could have been life-threatening. But now that that's over, it just seems like, my goodness, I wasted so much time so deeply fretting over that when something much, much worse was just right there. There's always going to be somebody who has something worse than you do. So put it in perspective, boys and girls. Always put your worries, troubles, and concerns in perspective, and put your concern, your greater concern, on where it needs to be best. And don't forget, and I'm going to say it, and I'll say it before, and I'll say it again, don't forget to pray, because that is what got us through all of this situation so much. Now, go be a blessing to somebody today. You may end up being the only one who is. And if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. It's Jeanne Sigler, JeanneSigler. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up if you can. It helps with those algorithms. And leave a comment, please. And don't forget to follow me on X. It's at Jeannie NY Woman, the little @ sign, JeanneNY Woman, and hit follow. You could leave a comment there as well. If you get an opportunity, tune in on Saturday to ultimateoldiesradio.com at 9 Eastern, 8 Central for Eyes of a New York Woman, with an encore presentation on oldies700.com on Sundays at 4 Central, 5 Eastern. And you can hear my program there. Please tune in if you get an opportunity. I love you all very much. Please pray for my friend who's going through this recuperation period now. And remember, pray. It really works. I love you. Bye-bye.